You can't be a good writer unless you're a good reader. And for me personally, since I write historical fiction, I do a lot of reading and a lot of research. On my recent trip to the Old West, went to Nevada and to Northern Nevada and to Northern California, where the gold and silver rush were. I picked up a lot of books along the way, and these are books that I use a lot when I'm researching my Rivervine trilogy. Now, I love the Old West. I was born and raised in Reno, Nevada, and I spent a good amount of time in Amador County, California. And it was just a very unique experience, and I love it there. So I am interested in researching more about it and writing more about it. So of course, I'm gonna pick up some books along the way. So let me tell you first a little bit about the books that I write. At the moment, I have 2 novels out. They are the first 2 books of the Rivervine trilogy. The first one is Fermata Cellars, and the second one is Zinfandel's Grimoire. Both of these books are about a haunted winery. The main ghost is named Zinfandel, or Zinvandela to be exact. The winery is located, well, it was inspired by Amador County, California, but it's located in the fictional city of Rivervine. That's where I got the name for the Rivervine trilogy. Zinfandel's Grimoire is the diary of the ghost, written by the ghost herself, and Fermata Cellars is the notes taken by the marketing director for the winery in the modern day. Zinfandel, during her lifetime, lived during the early 1800s. She died in 1848, right as Captain Sutter's men were building their sawmill. So, to become New Helvetia, which is modern day Sacramento. So there's an awful lot of history that is involved in these books. And I'm currently working on the 3rd book of the series, and these are some books I'm going to read as I'm doing my research. The first 3 I got in Virginia City, Nevada. Virginia City is one of my favorite places on earth. I got all 3 of these in the Virginia City Visitor Center. I'll post a link down below in the description below. The first one is The Chinese in Nevada. I have several books on the Chinese in California, but this is the first one I have for the Chinese in Nevada. The ghost Zinfandel, in my book, her father was Chinese. And there's an awful lot of Chinese history involved in the gold rush and the Old West in general. And I do have a fascination with them because their history is so rich and so interesting. And there's so much that we as Americans don't know about them. And it's very intriguing. The other book I got was Mark Twain in Virginia City, Nevada. I have a separate book that I'm going to be writing all about Mark Twain. I have this idea. I don't know if it's true or if I'm just a writer with an overactive imagination, but I believe I had a previous life in Virginia City, Nevada during the 1860s, and I think I was his ghostwriter for his journalism work when he worked at the Territorial Enterprise. So while he was busy getting drunk and writing his books, I was busy doing the reporter work for him. Another book, but that's just me making it up. I have no proof that that actually was true. The other book I got in Virginia City is The Outlaw's Violin. And this book is all about the violin. Zinfandel plays violin. It was inherited to her by her great-grandmother, And she's a left-handed violin player, even though this one's a right-handed violin player. So I want to do a lot of research on the violin and the role it played in the Old West. And I used to live in a town called Fiddletown. That is a real place. It's a town in Northern California in Amador County. I lived there for 5 years. They actually have the last vestiges of an actual gold rush Chinatown. They have 4 intact buildings that are contiguous, which is really hard to find in the Old West. So that's interesting. And she played violin. So I want to learn more about the role of the violin in the Old West. Then after we left Virginia City, we went to Sacramento, which is another favorite place of mine. And in Old Sac, I went by the Visitor Center and bought some books there as well. The first book I got was Mark Twain's Civil War. Again, this is part of my Mark Twain fetish. Wineries of the Gold Country, because Fermata Cellars is a haunted winery, so I want to learn more about wineries in that part of town, or in that part of the world during that era. I certainly know a lot. I know a lot of vintners in Amador County. And then this book I got at, where did I get this? Oh, I got this book in Durango, Colorado. I almost said cauliflower. What am I thinking? I've been hanging around too many keto dieters. This book is called Ghost Tracks, Haunting Tales Along the Rails. So I just thought all of these books sounded exciting and interesting. I want to read them. They're part of my research that I'm going to be using for the books that I write. And I will let you know how I like them. So that is my local small shopping haul for the week of July 6th, 2021. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday.